Hey YouTube, this is Prometheus giving you guys more than the meta. So guys, I want to show you a defensive scheme that I've been using online. I'm going to show you all defense that basically I got 4 interceptions and a rage quit shutout against an opponent that wins a little bit over 64% of his games. So he's got over 200 games underneath his belt. It's not like somebody's a newbie, but he really struggled against this defense. Now, some people adjust pretty well to it, but this defense is very difficult to understand because a lot of people don't run a lot of cover 6 match online or cover 4 or palms online. So people aren't used to seeing that, and if you understand your responsibilities, you'll be much better. My goal is to write a defensive ebook based on this particular scheme. I might actually be using a dime package of this just because I need something to adjust to empty sets. But I'll be labbing some stuff out and actually giving you guys how to run these defensive schemes and having rules and understanding what type of things to run against certain types of formations. So guys, if you do like this type of content, I do want to give you a heads up. I basically do have a Patreon. I'll be using the spread playbook as my offensive playbook. I've got roughly 8 different formations that actually show in this. Actually 9 different formations that are non-meta formations. So stuff that people aren't running online. You'll be able to go ahead and effectively move the ball up and down your opponent's field with this. I'm going to be I'll probably be having to write up I have a write-up right now with the trip set, but I'll have a write-up with a double set really shortly. So let me go and jump into what you guys actually came into. And it's essentially going to be this defensive gameplay. I do have my teleprompter, so I'll be stopping some stuff. Running against a New York Jets player, and what I like to do is set up match. I always go ahead and do option defense conservative, and then tackling conservative, and then I also baseline. I baseline primarily because I don't want to give my opponent a kind of a tell how my coverages are working, and make it difficult for him to read the coverages. So that's what I do. Now, one of the defenses I switch into is the cover 1 contain. This actually has one of your defenders down in the box into a contain. I use this as a run defense, and occasionally I use it as kind of a coverage defense. But really, it's my goal of putting the cover 1 contain in is a run defense because I want to have people playing run fits against my opponent. I choose Overstorm Brave opposed to the pinch blitz. I just want the blitz up the middle. And then the other coverage adjustment that I do is I use cover 4 palms because it has really good matching principles, and a lot of people don't understand how palms work, so they just stay away from it. But this is a really good defense to use against trips defenses, or a trips wide receiver set where you have 3 wide receivers on one side, and sometimes I make some type of adjustments. I did leave the cover 3 sky into the scheme, but I might be pulling it out because I really don't use it a lot. So if I don't use a particular formation, there's no reason to keep it in. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. I always come out of cover 6 against my opponent, and if I like to user this guy, or I like to user this guy. Now, if you user this guy, you basically have a deep responsibility, which is kind of like the middle of the field that you've got to cover. So I've a couple of times that I've got myself given up a big touchdown is because I didn't do my pass responsibility that good. But in running situations where they know there's not a huge threat over the top, especially like one of these type of wing sets and stuff like that, I'm going to go and use this guy. I want to come down and kind of play the run. Another thing that I like to do is I like to take my defensive line and I like to shift them over. And the reason I shift them over is that it's for the purpose of actually going ahead and forcing these blockers to get out of position. So it's going to make this guy irrelevant in the blocking of the scheme and make it difficult for this guy to reach over. So that's why I shift guys over. So let's go ahead and run this play. I don't make any kind of adjustments, I don't think. But you can see I've got a guy that's actually coming down here with the run fit. I've got a run fit. He's sliding over a little bit, and he should be coming down and biting. Because I've got a deep half over here, he doesn't have a run fit, so he's not going to respond to the run. But you can always go ahead and make an adjustment and put that guy into a man coverage assignment or something like that. So he picked up 5 yards. That's fine. I want to know if this guy's a runner or not. So giving up some cheap yards early on is not a huge deal. You just want to get a feel for what they're doing. So I think right here, let's see what I do. Basically, I've got a trip set. What I like to do against trip sets where I've got, basically, 1, 2, and I've got my 3 wide receivers over here. I like to take my defensive end and put them in a hard flat, so it really clogs up this area of the field where they really can't do anything, forcing them to go over the middle of the field, and that's where I'm using my guy right there. So let's go ahead and see what happens with this particular play. Once again, I'm going down, playing down to the line, trying to take any kind of runaway. He does a play action, and right here he's got basically kind of a crossing route coming over the middle. He's got another crossing route over the middle, and I think he's going deep area, so I'm not worried about this. This is all locked up. My responsibility is to carry over this side to make sure that if anything comes over the middle, that gets taken away across the middle. And right here actually throws right into my defender, and I'm able to go and get an interception off him in the second play of the game. So he just didn't read it correctly. This guy wins 64% of his games. He's played over 200 games. So it's not the first rodeo for him. It's not like he's playing this game for the first time. He just didn't read it correctly, and he made a bad read. So that's what I love about the match coverage, is that a lot of times a lot of players just have a hard time reading that type of coverage against them. So right here, I think what I did is, let's see here, I basically jumped into cover 4 match. He does a little crossing route, hits me underneath. I think that might have been my responsibility. I might have went into palms because he had a bunch of that. So basically in palms, what I do is I do hard flats against anything I anticipate, any kind of crossing sets or join underneath, and then I'm going to use one of my guys and actually drop one guy into a flat position. It was actually a good read by him. He hit the right guy, but I think we'd come back to that again. So let's see here. Once again, I've got an extra defender going into a flat, and I'm going to kind of user this guy. I think what I was doing is I was trying to bounce over to this guy, because really you've got these two guys that are going to lock up any kind of concept. So if this guy's going deep, he's going to lock that guy up if he goes deep. And if he goes to, like, does a quick kind of out, I've got this guy dropping back into an out to try to defend that type of stuff. So I'm not clicked onto the right guy. I actually, in defensive end, I was actually switching this up, and this guy jumps into a crazy play, the PA end around. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this was a play that was a meta play years ago in Madden. There were some people that just ran it. In particular, there was a guy that just ran this as his entire scheme. He just ran this one play. It was Rell Combo. He used to be a YouTuber. I think he still does some content, but he used to just run this play. It was his play. He just ran it every single play because it broke down defenses. But not as effective as before. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't even notice the play action end around. But he caught me off guard with that. But that's going to be pick 6 if he was to keep going back to it. Now here's something I've noticed when I run into these tight sets, in particular deuce close. A lot of times what people are trying to do when they do these, they're trying to get some crossing routes or bomb routes with the outside receivers, and then it might probably put some guys down in the flats with the tight ends, something like that. But their goal is to hit this stuff. They want these crossers to hit. So my adjustment, when I see these type of stuff, I'll stay in cover 6. I'm going to user this guy. I'm going to take this defender, man him up on this guy, this defender, man him up on the outside, and I'm going to let him beat me up with these tight ends. But I'm not giving up this stuff over the top. That's what I'm not giving. I'm not going to give these big plays. So let's go and see this adjustment in action. Let's see, I need to be switched over. Let's see if I can see the play art, see how this guy matches up. See how this guy matches up. This is the adjustment I do with these deuce close formations, and they kind of carry, and you can see he's throwing right into user territory, or actually a man territory with Holland, who has a huge game. He threw into it, and it was underneath coverages. So as I stated before, that's what people like to do, and I anticipated that particular that decision, and basically with this cover 6 adjustment with manning up the linebackers, which I have assigned as safeties, they take away that Rell combination and make it very difficult for them to get that off. So right at it again. I think I'm going to run the same defense. I might be going hard flats to see if I get the play arc. Okay, so I do hard flats too, because a lot of times what people will do is they'll do like a quick out or something like that and throw into that. But here's my adjustment. I'm going to play over the middle of the field and try to take away any kind of a deep streak. just this guy out. I just feel like this is the wider side of the area. He doesn't have a sideline, so that's why I shifted the line this way, because if he runs this way, he's closer to the sideline, so he's got less running room. So that's why I shift the line off to the right. Then I quickly spread it out because he's going to pass. Once again, he goes for that type of a route. See how I got this guy? This is bagged. I'm coming over the crosser. That's bagged. I've got these guys matched up. And I got this guy down right here on man-to-man assignment. And Holland makes a great play for me. He threw right into my user and basically going ahead and got an interception. So once again, another stop in this game. I think what I chose to do in this type of situation, I think I was just going to go ahead and try to milk the clock as I was getting the ball in the second half. Get the ball down to the end zone. I made a mistake down in the end zone. So he's got 30 seconds basically to go ahead and get himself some yards, or at least get in a field goal range to make this game competitive. Once again, he's got this bunch set. So I've got these guys manned up. He throws across against my user, so I didn't pick that off. I didn't get a position to do that, but he was using this under route concept, and I still had my man things set up like that. So another adjustment you could do is you could take those middle guys and actually mix up your man matching. So instead of matching up this far guy out here and this far guy out here, because these are middle linebackers, you can actually go ahead and cross match. So in other words, once they start coming over, you're going to have a guy that's going to get leverage underneath it. So it's just a little bit different way to change things up a little bit against your opponent if you're going to use this type of coverage. So he flips the play. I think I left everything as is right here. I've got a soft squat off to the right. I could probably want to hard flat this type of stuff just to go ahead and take away stuff, but this guy is not trying to hit anything underneath. He's not making me work for it. So you can see right here, this safety's taking up this guy over the top. I'm playing in the middle of the field. He kind of lets this guy go, and he's got this crossing route right here, and this guy right here is falling into his passing lane. He takes a shot up top. I try to play the ball. I don't get the animation I'm looking for, unfortunately, and I'll come down with it. But he threw it right to me, and I came to it and actually tried to get a pick. So fortunately for me, well, fortunately for him, he didn't get picked off. That should have been another interception because he kept throwing to my user. And a lot of times, that's not a bad thing to do. So once again, tight sets like this, bunch, I'm going to go ahead and man up the outside receivers, and I'm going to play the middle of the field. I've got to defend the middle of the field. And if I see any kind of crossing over here, I want to go ahead and take that away. I do have this deep half that's going to play pretty good. And this guy's got man-matching principles, so he might come down and play an outside defender. So I got to be very conscious of that. So you can see this is one of the first times he actually drops it down underneath, and he gets some reasonable yards. He gets himself a 4th and 5. In that type of situation. So he does a screen play, which is kind of unusual to see. So back at it again. Once again, I think I go ahead and do the matching principles. I did set these guys up. He's got an underneath route. He actually hits it. I go ahead and tackle him right at the first down marker. He's able to fall forward to get a first down. But that could have been technically another stop right there. If I would have pressed my coverage, he wanted the 4 verticals. So I'm sure that he's probably a little bit concerned right now because my defense is pretty suffocating. He's having a hard time with it. Let's see if I still run with the same defense. So it's a little bit the same defense, but this time what I did is I dropped this guy into a hook zone just to clog up this area. This is the wide side of the field, so if he's got any kind of a drag route that goes underneath it, this guy's going to carry and just get in the area and try to make it a little bit difficult for him to make a decision. So that's why I just dropped that zone drop out there just to take away one of his initial reads. He does try to throw over the top of me, and I've got a flat zone out there. And I'm able to go and pick him off. So that wasn't really the most sound defense, but because I had that zone drop out there, taking away that flat route, I probably messed up his timing a little bit, and as a result, he basically throws another interception. So that's, I think, interception 3, I believe, against him, where he's already thrown 3 picks. So now we go into the third quarter right here. I'm up 14-0 against him. And once again, he's staying with these tight sets. So I'm going to go ahead and stay with the same type of a coverage. Let him check down to the flats. That's fine. He actually has a nice little move right there. My open field tackle is just terrible. I'm not good at it. But he goes into Y seam. So he's doing a lot of these close sets. He's having a hard time with this match coverage and me manning up my inside defenders against his outside guys. So right here, he jumps into a trip set. So we've got, 1, 2, 3, and we've got our 1, and we've got our 2 underneath here. So what I like to do is I like to use palms for the most part, and I like to go ahead and take this defender and actually put him in a flap. So let's go ahead and see if that's the adjustment we make. We do that. Okay, so here we go. I jumped into palms. This guy is going to match up to this guy one-on-one. His responsibility, these guys are going to match up one-on-one. His responsibility is to get over to this guy and basically take that guy out, and then the 3-rec hook, his responsibility is to take this guy out. I also, I put this hard flat out, so if he actually has any kind of a quick out or some type of route out here, this hard flat's going to jump into that area and actually take it away. Now, I don't really have to be concerned too much about this guy because he should match up to this guy, and then also this guy is going to match up to the running back. So my responsibility is to look for a deep crossing route to come over the top of it, and I'm going to play underneath that deep crossing route because these guys should be over the top of those deep crossing routes. So here's the defense I set up. He does a play action, and look at the matching. Okay, so you could see right here, this is the read. This is actually the smart read. He's got open field right here, but because this guy is trying to take shots up top against me, he's looking at trying to take those shots. I've got this guy over the top. I've got this guy over the top. This guy's over the top, but he's out leveraged a little bit underneath. So my responsibility, once again, is to carry underneath and try to take away that read. Sure enough, he throws. There's my user, and I get a deflection. It should have been an interception in that type of situation. But this guy was throwing into my user the entire time, and everything was pretty much locked up because of the coverage that he used. So back at it again. I think I'm going to stay in a cover 6 here. And no, I actually stayed. I was anticipating him going into some type of a mesh concept. So maybe this guy comes out and sticks down here, drag, down here, drag, and maybe this guy flies. So I'm anticipating mesh concept. And what I do with mesh is I go with hard flats with my defenders. I user this guy, and I try to take away the seam area and look for the sit. That's my responsibility. So right here, he actually does do mesh, like a version of mesh, and basically I'm able to go and pick him off with my defender, and as a result, I get a pick 6 against him because this guy was not reading anything. He was just trying to get rid of the ball, and my defenders were playing lights out. So guys, this is essentially what the kind of defense that I actually like to use online. He ends up quitting out after this. If you guys do like these type of breakdowns, let me know. I'm going to try to create a defensive ebook. Once again, playing defense, it's not necessarily, you just want to try to get yourself some type of a stop when you play defense. You're not always going to go ahead and get a stop in it, but I hope you guys like seeing how I run my defense and how I'm getting stops and stuff like that. At least putting myself in a situation where I get opportunities to get interceptions, get opportunities to stop people and confuse them. So you might want to take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and try to put together a rules ebook on how I run defense based on some of the research I'm doing online with other Madden YouTubers and defensive skills and stuff like that. So thank you for your support, guys. Until next time.